You didn't change. You just stopped pretending to be small. And somehow that became a problem. Think about it. You worked harder. You grew. You leveled up. And instead of people cheering you on, something shifted. A silence fell. The energy changed. People you called friends started acting differently. Why? That's exactly what we're going to unpack today. Picture this. You're at a casual dinner. Old friends, people you've known for years. You mention something new in your life. Maybe it's the promotion you worked 2 years to earn. Maybe it's a business you finally launched. Maybe it's just you look different, calmer, more confident. And the room gets quiet, not the good kind of quiet, the kind where someone smiles, but their eyes don't. The kind where the subject gets changed just a little too fast. The kind where a joke lands with an edge it didn't used to have. Oh, look at you, Mr. Big Shot now, huh? They laugh. You laugh too. But something in your chest tightens because you felt it and you didn't know what to do with it. So you dimmed yourself a little just to make the room comfortable again. Sound familiar? That moment right there. That's not just awkward. That's one of the loneliest feelings a growing person can experience because you're not doing anything wrong. You're not bragging. You're not showing off. You're just becoming. But here's the truth. Other people don't always experience your growth as something good. To them, it feels like a threat. And I know that sounds harsh. These are people who care about you, people who've been there for you. So why would your success feel like a threat to them? That question used to keep me up at night, because if the people closest to you can't celebrate your wins, what does that say about them? What does it say about you? And what are you supposed to do with that? Here's the psychology behind it. And nobody talks about this enough. When you grow, you become a mirror. Your life reflects back to everyone around you exactly what they have and haven't done with theirs. Psychologists call this social comparison theory. Human beings are constantly measuring themselves against others, not because they're bad people, but because it's how the human brain works. We size ourselves up. We use others as benchmarks. And when you were at the same level as someone, that comparison felt safe. But the moment you move forward, that mirror gets uncomfortable. Your promotion reminds them of the job they never applied for. Your confidence reminds them of the self-work they keep putting off. Your peace reminds them of the chaos they refuse to address. They're not angry at you. They're angry at the version of themselves they see in you. And here's the darkest part. Most of them don't even know that's what's happening. It's unconscious, invisible, silent, but you feel it every single time. Let me tell you something nobody will say to your face. Some people in your life need you to stay the same because your sameness keeps them comfortable. It lets them believe their own stagnation is normal. As long as you weren't moving, they didn't have to either. And it gets worse. When you start succeeding, something primal kicks in. It's called tall poppy syndrome, a phenomenon studied across cultures worldwide. When someone rises above the group instinct is to cut them down, not out of cruelty, out of self-preservation, because your success is an implicit message. Even when you never say a word, it whispers to everyone watching, it was possible. You could have done it too. That whisper, that's the most uncomfortable thing in the world for someone who chose comfort over courage. And so they find ways, subtle ways to make you feel wrong for winning. A comment here, a joke there, little coldness, little distance, nothing big enough to call out, but just enough to make you second guess yourself. That's not friendship. That's insecurity dressed up in familiarity. So what do you do with all of this? First, understand something. This is not about you. It was never about you. It's about what you represent. You are not responsible for how your growth lands in other people's hearts. You didn't choose to be their mirror. You just chose to grow. And that's not something to apologize for. Second, stop shrinking. Every time you dim your light to make others comfortable, you are betraying yourself and you are robbing them of a real example. The most generous thing you can do for the people around you is refuse to go back to who you were. Because here's what time teaches you. Not everyone who feels uncomfortable with your growth will stay that way. Some people will eventually choose to grow too. And when they do, they'll come back to you, not with resentment, with respect. And the ones who don't, they were never celebrating you to begin with. They were celebrating the version of you that made them feel ahead. Let those people go with love, with grace, but let them go. Third, find your level. Every time you grow, you naturally start to attract people who are operating at the same frequency. People who don't need you to be small. People who are inspired by your movement, not threatened by it. That's your real tribe. And you haven't met all of them yet. But here's the one thing I want you to really sit with. The discomfort people feel around your success, it's actually a gift. I know that sounds backwards. Hear me out when people pull away. Because you're growing, they are showing you exactly who they are, not who they want you to think they are, who they actually are. And that information, that's priceless. Because a person who can celebrate your wins without comparison, who can watch you move forward and feel genuinely happy for you, that person is rare. That person is gold. And your growth is the filter that finds them. Nobody talks about this, but success is one of the greatest loyalty tests you'll ever run. It shows you who claps when you win and who goes quiet. Pay attention to the quiet ones, not with anger, with clarity, because clarity is a superpower. And most people never get it because they never dared to grow. You started this video wondering why your success makes people around you uncomfortable. Now you know it's not because you did something wrong. It's because you did something right. And that right thing holds up a mirror. Your growth is not the problem. It's the answer to every excuse they made, the answer to every limitation they accepted, the answer to the question, was it really possible? Yes, it was. You proved it. So keep going, not to prove anything to anyone, but because somewhere out there, someone is watching you quietly, someone who has been waiting for proof that it can be done. And your life is that proof. Don't dim it. Jordan.